what is something that you think you understand about people that others may not understand fully or have a grasp on just because you've had so many in-person interactions?
Everybody is deeply emotional. And I know that seems like it's 2020 and a lot of people are openly emotional, I think, on social media, things like that. But there is what is wild about the poetry is that when someone comes up, something clicks when I say, "Hey, you want a poem about something?" And a lot of times I'm writing nice, happy poems about dogs or about, hey, I love my wife. Fortnite, yeah, no, like stuff like that, fun stuff. But sometimes, and more often than I expected it, is I'll have someone come up and I will have them share a story, share something that they might not have shared with other people before, something that they might be going through, and I think that a kind of an extension from that is that people want to relate in a creative way. I had this realization a couple, like a few days ago with my wife, because I go to therapy just on a regular basis. I like unpacking that type of thing. I feel like it's kind of going like going to the doctor, and I realized that part of the challenge with therapy is that you sit there and you go to someone, "Oh, I'm feeling this," and they go, "Oh, well, you're going through this and that type of thing," and then you kind of have a conversation about it. But it's not like what is we interpret the way we live our lives through stories and through art, and so people want to look at their life in a way of a story or through the art of a poem. And when people have asked me for they've asked for a prompt where they might be dealing with growing old and struggling with that, or I had a lady that had just come out of a violent relationship and she was really struggling with that, and they want, and I get scared because they're putting their, suddenly I'm holding their heart in my hands, and I even if I'm just trying to write something nice in response, they deeply appreciate it and they deeply want those things. So I think that that's something that really has stood out to me. And also that there are a lot more poets than we realize. That most people are writing some sort of verse somewhere in some notebook that they're not showing anybody. And that is
secret. We live in a society of secret creatives where everyone's afraid to show what they create.
Right? Yeah. And I'm always, and I respect when people don't want to show it, but like I'm always like, yeah, get loud and proud. Like everybody's, poetry is beautiful.
Yeah. And not to hate on people that create just as a hobby or they don't want to show people, because I think there is value in creating things that you have no intention of releasing or no intention of making a living from. Even if you're an investment banker and you go home and you write mediocre music on guitar and you just record it, you just record it just for fun. I started experimenting with making remixes of certain instrumentals over quarantine and experimenting with rap lyrics and singing, even though my voice is nowhere even close to mediocre. It's cool to just create things and not worry about what people are going to say, and to just have the intrinsic motivation of I'm going to create this and I don't care what happens, because I'm probably not going to release it. But then I also do think that there are people that want to release it, but for some reason they're invested too much in the opinions of other people, where they're not holding back because it's a hobby or they don't really care for it that much. They're holding back because they think that people are going to think about them a certain way, or their friends will think of them different, or they don't want to see the negativity on social media for whatever reason it is. And that's something that every creator that puts themselves out there, as has to struggle with.
Yeah, absolutely. It was I still get super scared that like a poem I write, someone is going to just throw it back in my face and be like, "No, this is crap," and it's going to be and then suddenly my whole world is like falling apart. But I frankly have never gotten that response, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, it is so. I think that's the other cool thing about what I do that really helps make it relatable is that because there's always so many people that do appreciate poetry on a secret level, or at least or even sometimes write it. You know, they don't. There's no large scale market of poetry out there, except when there's a guy sitting out there, say, with a sign that says "Poems for Everybody,"
Mm-hmm.
and so they can very quickly and easily relate to what's happening in that moment. They'll look at the poems. I watch them as they go. They'll look at the poems. They'll be rereading them, seeing where the turns of phrases, how I position my lines. They like words as art, and they kind of come away with that.
Yeah.